Hey guys, it's Timothy here. We're in round 3 of this league. I'm playing red-white. Just a note real quick before I start, and I did win the die roll. I just got back from a local draft at my game store, so I'm doing this a little bit later than the other 2 matches, and I played red-white there. So if I start talking about cards that aren't actually my deck, that's why. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but playing 2 red-white decks, very similar decks too. All of these cards were in my deck at the store. If I recall, we almost punted game 2 pretty hard, but we are on the play, and I need to take this upkeep stop off from earlier. But I think we almost punted. We skipped through a combat step, a pretty crucial combat step that could have won us the race had we not drawn very well, but I think we ended up drawing pretty well regardless. We do get to play out Oketcher's Avenger here, and unfortunately, we got a few more lands than we would like in our opener, but being able to play this into Resolute Survivors is a very nice start. And then we always have Paramount as just a backup plan. Not going to see anything from my opponent here, so that's not great. I don't have to exert this now, which is awesome, but I could be playing into Essence Scatter. And for that reason, I kind of want to go with Mummy Paramount just so I don't get censored, even though this does add the most power to board. I don't know that I need to play around Censor, but if I can, I will. And if they Essence Scatter this, I'm fine with it. It resolves, so it doesn't tell me much. It doesn't tell me that they do or don't have anything. My draft deck at the store had Angel of Condemnation and Insult to Injury. It was very strong. Ooh, Aerial Guide. Alright. Probably offer the trade of Mummy Paramount with that. Hoping to draw some non-lands here, a little bit more action. Sunset Pyramid would be fine. I just like drawing that card when I'm not under a lot of pressure because it gives me options for my mana. But I get to hit my opponent for probably 4 here if I play Resolute Survivors, assuming I don't draw something better. Okay, that's not a bad thing to draw when drawing mana. Let's go ahead and I think I want to offer the trade with Mummy Paramount. Not too worried about the Paramount doing anything, and holding it back isn't great. Getting Aerial Guide off board is fine. Alright, so we shall exert Oketcher's Avenger. This way I'm getting in at least. There's no way they block Avenger. Getting at least an extra damage while I can off this Survivor. There's a chance they just don't block the Mummy. And take 5. They are going down to... Oh no, they're going to block. Okay. Turn 4 is pretty critical turn here. They could play a big blocker. They could play just something that's hard for me to deal with. Shafet Dunes is something to pay attention to. Okay, Gideon's Intervention, name in, probably Resolute Survivors. That's going to be bad if they name that because I have 2 more in my deck. They're just going to incidentally get a couple more. Alright, watch me draw them all now. And this prevents all damage, so it prevents the Exert trigger as well, which is super brutal. It's a very nice play from my opponent there. It makes all... They don't know I have multiple Resolute Survivors in my deck. Okay, Inferno Jet's also solid. Unfortunately, I don't get to do anything here. Yeah, if I exert other creatures, Resolute Survivors is still the source of the damage. That kind of sucks for me. But I've got a pretty good lead, and I do have Inferno Jet in my hand. Note that Resolute Survivors can still block, just can't attack. And I'm not too threatened by an Ancient Crab here. Huh? Okay. Not entirely sure why you would play the Cartouche there. Maybe they don't want to die to some 3 damage spell. I don't think I have any way to get rid of this. I didn't take that Forsake the Worldly Deer in the draft. Alright, so here, this is a pretty easy Angel. Then next turn, probably just Dauntless Haven. And we do not have good attacks with the Avenger, unfortunately. Now, one thing I can still use this for is if I draw Vizier of the True, I can still exert it, even though it won't deal damage, to tap creatures down. Vizier of the True is very strong in my deck. Alright, that's good for my opponent. Gives them some life. They don't know about the Inferno Jet Lumen here. I've watched the first. I'm going through all the Pro Tour footage, the draft rounds, and it seems like there are a ton of games that are just decided by Inferno Jets. We're gonna start by cycling because I don't need any more lands, and play Dauntless Haven. Okay, Mountain's not great there. I do get to slam with my flyer. I don't think my opponent blocks. No, I haven't drawn any of my removal spells either, so those could still be good draws. I have a lot of bad draws here. I could draw more lands. I could draw more Resolute Survivors. Man, my opponent naming that was just very good. But I also have a lot of good draws. I do have pressure on board. Not a lot, but pressure nonetheless. Dauntless Haven doesn't really get a good attack in here, unfortunately. Unless I draw a removal spell for the Haven. The white cartouche is kind of a signal to me that they might have a trial in their deck. Blue or white, I can't really tell. Geez, another one. I'm going to slam with the flyer and probably run it into a trick here, unfortunately, but I don't think holding it back is going to do very much. Very likely like Sandblast or something here. My opponent with 4 cards in hand and they didn't play anything. If it's a bounce spell, that's fine by me. Okay, so they're going to go for a double block. Man, if I had something, I could totally punish him here, but unfortunately I don't. Yeah. Yeah, and I could start falling behind very quickly here. I need to draw some removal spells. We've seen 9 of our lands. That's why I say Sunset Pyramid's so good, because it could just get me out of this situation. I'm not under a lot of pressure from my opponent, but I don't think they can afford to attack with Reedstalker either unless they put another flyer on the board. And that trade for their Haven was not terrible for me, just wasn't good for me either. Renewed Faith, cycle in, gain in 2 life. Well, maybe we want to cycle Inferno Jet at some point here. It doesn't look like this is going to be much of a damage race. Okay, another aerial guide. One of our removal spells would be a fine draw too. Huh, that is a weird attack to me. Maybe it makes sense if they're intending to trade Dauntless Haven or their aerial guide for my Dauntless Haven. Oh, jeez. That's exactly the worst possible draw we could hit is one of those. And just having no way to get rid of this, I think we probably want to cycle Inferno Jet, but I'm going to offer the trade with Dauntless Haven. Because it's not going to do much else otherwise. And, you know, my opponent may not block for fear of a combat trick, but they probably do. Yep. Alright, and now I've just got nothing going on for me, so I need to draw well. I think Pyramid actually is my best draw here. Because I'm going to fall behind very quickly. My opponent still has 3 cards in hand. They can, well, I don't think they want to attack with the crab yet. I'm 100% blocking this. If they want to use some sort of trick to get my survivors off board, that's fine, since it can't really do much anyway. Oh, this prevents damage dealt to his permanents too. So, I mean, that's just a free roll attack. Nothing really happens between them. Steadfast Sentinel. Alright, my opponent's got, like, mediocre playables. Like, all of these are whatever cards, but they're going to do the trick here if I don't draw something. They're down to 1 card. They have Shafet Dunes. They can go pretty wide here and start doing some real damage. And I've just got cards that don't do much, so I'm going to keep Inferno Jet until I absolutely need to cycle it. That's a fine draw, actually. And there's a chance I want to play out the plains here. Actually, that could do some real damage next turn. Let's see what our opponent does first. But exerting 3 creatures... Oh, never mind. I don't have the Vizier. Wrong one. Emberhorn Minotaur is pressure, though. Not much. Like, he can double block with Crab plus something else. Actually, it's probably not even that good. Gen makes Vizier the True a very good draw for me. But I have so many dead draws, too. Yeah. This card looking real sweet after I bashed it um, in the actual draft. It's just, it 1-for-1s basically. It's like a bad pacifism, but it's getting a lot of extra value here. Unquenchable Thirst. Yep. That happens. Can't do anything about it. Alright, my opponent's on just mono creatures now. Compulsory Rest. It's not amazing. I probably want to put that on the Crab so I can start jamming with Oketra's Avenger, but I'm going to start taking 6 in the air per turn. I don't think I have much of a choice. Yeah, I'm going to lose this game, definitely. This doesn't do anything, unfortunately. Oh, I guess I still gain a life. Yeah. That's not bad. You can just block with the 1/1. You can even block with Labyrinth Champion, but I don't see that happening. Guess we just... Yeah, we're not going to get to Inferno Jet, so I think I'm going to cycle that at end of turn. I just don't foresee a way that we're going to get them down to 6 here before they kill us. They have a 3-turn clock on us. Because, well, more than that, because they can actually attack with everything. I block a 2/2, so I take 7. Yeah, it's still a 3-turn clock at the moment. They're going to go for Shafet Dunes now. Just try to seal the deal. But me not having a board wipe in my deck means there's just not much I can do about this. I can take at least 9, 10, 11 this turn. Yeah, I'm just dead. If I had a magical way to get rid of this thing, then possibly. We'll block, just to keep it as a blocker for next turn. I think we got a little bit flooded this game. My opponent drew 6 lands, I drew 8. Wow. I don't want to show my opponent Inferno Jet, so we're going to go to game 2. Wow. We would draw all 3 of them too, right? No enchantment removal in the deck to be seen. Jerry's Renunciation is a possibility here if I just want to slam my opponent as fast as possible. Possible? Is that the word I'm looking for? We didn't draw much removal there either, so that's a consideration, right? I don't know too much about this Renunciation. Nah, I think we'll just submit as is. Dean's Intervention really did work that game. Well, my opponent's deck is good too. Just solid creatures. Risky keep here. We don't have a lot of action. Got some 5 and 6 drops, but we'll probably lean on Cyclone the Angel if we need to try and hit our 3rd land drop. And we have Compulsory Rest to kind of deal with something. Hoping my opponent's first creature isn't the Labyrinth Champion. And we drew another 5 drop. That's, you know, it's a thing that happens. Drew all of my top end so far. Cycle. Just need to hit our 3rd land drop. Okay. Alright, there's the Jet. Man, all of our top end. Both of our 5 drops and both of our 6 drops. It's pretty ridiculous. Doesn't mean land drops are very good draws for us, but... Oh, I thought I was going to hit an Essence Scatter there. Things might have gone a little differently had I played the... had I cycled Inferno Jet a little earlier the last game. But I should have been keen to the fact that Inferno Jet wasn't going to win the game for me at that point. I didn't want to show them it at the end of the game, though, because they might not play around it. Spearmaster's going to do its best Oketra's Avenger impression here. Could also compulsory rest that and just not attack since I don't have a removal spell for it. Could do Sandblast as well, and I kind of like that because it uses my mana the best. Yeah, I kind of like Sandblast on it. But then I have to exert this. Let's go for compulsory rest. That way I don't have to exert this. I get in some free damage this turn, and then I get to attack with exert next turn, should I not be face down by like a crab or something. We just want to hit land drops. Neheb seems like it'd be very good against my opponent. I mean, they have Unquenchable Thirst in their deck, but that's fine. Don't foresee Onward to Victory being super good here, even though it pushes in a lot of extra damage. Alright, Steadfast Sentinel. It's okay. My opponent can probably happily block that. Ugh, no lands. I mean, we have ways to kind of interact with our opponents, but I'm not a big fan of using these on a eternalized creature. I might. Could have used Onward there to deal an extra 4 damage to my opponent. Inferno Jets is looking like we might be cycling it again, or thinking about cycling it. Those who serve is strong. Yeah, I like going for Sandblast here. My opponent wants to use their whole next turn, just bringing it back. I think I'm okay with that for now. I have Farm as a backup. You have a 2-drop as well. Okay, Thirst on my guy. So now I have 0 action. This is bad. Creature, oh my god, a 4-drop? Well, I think I cycle Inferno Jet here now because I want to hit lands. Not hitting a land here would be horrendous. Wow. Okay. Well, we are going to fall behind at this point. My opponent's going to be able to bring back their 4/4, and I'm going to have to be tapping out on my turn. I don't want to lose to not hitting lands again, but it looks like that might be what's happening. And if my opponent doesn't play land here, they've just got 4 spells, so it's not looking good. I've got my opponent down to 13, but it's not going to do too much. All right, Crab is not a lot of pressure. All right, that is a land, so I think we go Minotaur now. Minotaur's a pretty good attacker. It's very good with Onward. Okay, they're sacking their dude. That's fine. Okay. It's priority's yours, buddy. And I know my opponent has 3 spells in their hand for the most part, unless they're sandbagging a land, but that doesn't seem to make too much sense. This is probably... Ooh, Cryosphinx. That is strong. Alright. Alright, thankfully they didn't hit too hard of it, so I think I just put this in one pile and the lands in another, because they could take these 3, put this in the graveyard, and they're essentially drawing 4 cards. No, I want to split the land. And I think I want to put the tap land with the... well, Desert of the True is also basically a card, so this seems fine to me. Opponent's not getting anything busted here, really. They took the... obviously took the cartouche pile. Okay, maybe I can do something here with my Minotaur to get 2 creatures off the board. That's good too. So I kind of like the idea of jamming with the Minotaur, and they might double block with, say, these two. I could farm one and get it off the board. Kind of want to kill Unesh somehow. Could possibly set up like a onward to victory turn here. Could also just play the Aven. I think I want to save Resolute Survivors for a turn where I can play that plus hold up maybe onward or farm. But Unesh being on board is not great for me. Let's go ahead and jam with Minotaur. They also possibly just don't block here, and I can play Aven of Endure and Hope, which is strong. Doesn't deal with Unesh, but... Oh, they're not going to block? Alright, that's respectable from the opponent, too. They know they get a turn off, basically. They have 4 cards in hand. We know one of them's a Cyclone Desert, and one of them is a Cartouche. They still have 2 things in the graveyard they can bring back, but only 1 per turn. Steadfast Sentinel would use up the whole turn. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw, like, Guardian plus Cartouche here or something like that, although I don't know what my opponent would put the Cartouche on. Attack with Cryosphinx, I imagine. Attack with those who serve. Do I want to block and make my opponent use mana? No, I don't love that. I think I'll just take 6. Alright, Desert's Hold on the Minotaur. That's good. And then... Cycle? Oh my god, my opponent just locked down all my creatures. Wow. Jeez, my opponent just killed all of my guys, basically. And now my plays look terrible because I still only have 5 lands. I need another mountain for Neheb. Oh, jeez, I'm taking a beating now, aren't I? Maybe I hold up farm here, but I need to progress my game plan, I guess. I like going this guy because it can block those who serve. Although they might just cartouche it. Then I'm on like an actual 2-turn clock. I was not expecting this from my opponent. They've effectively dealt with all my things, so Aven can actually block something. It can block Unesh. Just a chump for a turn. They still have that Cartouche and the Cyclone land in their hand. They still have things they can play here. Yeah, Aven will block that. There's no reason not to, honestly. Again, I don't have enchantment removal. Temet. That's the second person with Temet today. And bring back Labyrinth Champ Guardian? Okay. It's respectable. Okay, there's another mountain. So Neheb's going to be a good way to shore up the ground. Also has a Flick 3, which isn't a terrible thing to have. Vizier of the True plus Onward could be a way to kind of win. Emberhorn Minotaur unfortunately can't do anything. I think we just play Neheb here. My opponent can attack me for 4, 5, 6, 7 next turn. 8 if they wanted to put the Cartouche on something. And then they have a 2-turn clock on me. Could also... No, I can't do both those things. Hold up farm, but I've got nothing else. Yeah, maybe I should have played Vizier last turn so I could play this plus hold up farm this turn. That was probably pretty bad. These exerting next turn seem solid. Locking down 2 creatures. I think I want to get Neheb down here. And just take my beats. Looks like we might not be making it Out of round 3 for this one, guys. My opponent did have answers for our stuff. Even though I think their creatures are worse than ours, their removal dealt with our stuff pretty nicely. I guess I could have gotten extra mana there. I'm not sure if that would have been relevant. 1 extra mana, not going to do much for me. They just block survivors. In fact, they can double block the survivors. My opponent didn't play that second desert, so they could cycle it. Okay, that makes sense. My opponent can kill me next turn. Because Temet can make Labyrinth Guardian unblockable. Man, dealing with that Minotaur was so good. 6, 7, 8. This puts me down to 7. I'm going to have to exert some guys to not die to it next turn. Not sure how I get out of this. Maybe another Resolute Survivors would be enough. Well, I guess I still have Farm as an option here. Even. Jesus. Man, my opponent has also drawn well. Let that not fool you. Okay, Pyramid, unfortunately, is way too late. So if I attack with Neheb, they get a pretty free attack with or block with their Ancient Crab, but they lose 3. I get 3 more mana to deal with stuff, so I could play Pyramid. Well, let's think about this. So I could play Vizier. I could exert this. My opponent's taken 1, and they block. They're taking another off of Flict, and I would have at least 4 mana to use my Sunset Pyramid and draw off of it, hoping to hit a land. But they can go Crab block, those who serve block, and just not take any damage. Or not lose any creatures, and then they just kill me on the swing back, even with farm. Onward, I don't think is going to steal a win here. If I had a way to make something unblockable, then maybe. One thing I could do is cast Onward on Neheb, hoping they don't block, and then I get a billion extra mana, but not a lot to do with it. I think my best option here is to go with the Vizier, hope to hit a land off Sunset Pyramid, hope they don't kill me, or just like all-in attack, which they probably will. It's really all I can do. We got stuck on lands this game, didn't we? Yeah, we drew too much of our top end too late and not enough of our early end. So, we shall attack with these 2. My opponent's just got lethal on me 1,000 different ways here. It's possible they don't do... Yeah, I don't see how I'm winning this. Vizier will go and tap down your Crab. I do gain a life, I guess. I don't know that that's going to matter. Unfortunately, the double strike on Onward to Victory is not instant speed. Otherwise, we might be able to like steal a random win here, but not going to happen here. Opponent could take an extra 4 damage as well. Okay, so they want survivors off the board, and that's understandable. It's exerted anyway, so it's not an avenue to victory. Hello. Oh my god, did I skip over that? That's annoying. I want to order the warrior first, but I guess that's... Oh, no. Yeah, that's super annoying. Guess I did that wrong. Play Pyramid, draw from Pyramid. Here's where a Save and Grace would be amazing, because it could get us out of this situation. But we don't have one in our deck. We have no way to fog this damage. I already have to hope to hit I'll lay it here just to play farm, and even then, that's not going to cut it. Nope. Minotaur. Nope, now I can't even hold up farm. My opponent's got me. I'll make them attack, and then they got it. They played it well. Again, I don't know, we drew well enough. We drew good cards, but Gideon's intervention just coincidentally sniping off 2 of my other cards in my hand last game was very strong. And that really sucked because I think we had it otherwise. Maybe not. But this is lethal. The Flyer plus the Labyrinth Guardian. Yeah, I've got nothing. My opponent's just got mediocre creatures and enchantment-based removal, so Angel of Condemnation would have been great here. I'm going to go and give it to my opponent. They played very well. I lost, and that's unfortunate because I think it was mostly due to bad draws and a little bit of circumstance with that intervention. But hey, what can you do? If it works, right? So congrats to my opponent. There we go. Red-white finishing 2-1 again. No trophy this time, but I'll see you guys soon for a draft again very soon. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.